Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody around the world, and welcome to the Halo Championship Series European Fall Season. Oh boy, are we excited to get this one underway. My name is Sims, and joining me once again on the desk, I have two wonderful men. Dan, Harry, how the hell are we doing, brothers?
Feeling really good.
Yeah?
Really excited to finally getting all this kicked off. I'm obviously excited to see more Halo action, especially after how well summer season finished.
Yep.
I think with all the changes that's gone on, fall season is going to be, how Harry would say, lit.
Yes, absolutely lit. I think you summed it up pretty perfectly there. I mean, you know, we came to a climax of the summer season, and the action was really getting underway. We had some really great storylines. Obviously, Fabi came out on top, and now we're going into the fall season. Let's see if they can do it again.
Big question for you, Harry. Have you gone away and calmed down the savageness, or has the savageness just kind of boiled up inside you and feel even worse?
Honestly, I think, you know, the delayed start of the Pro League has made it worse. I think we could be in for some problems. So if anyone does anything bad, I might have to just call them out.
Fair enough then. Well, we are going to get the fall season underway. Thank you all very much for bearing with us these last couple of weeks. We are now happy and comfortable. We'll be getting on with the games. Let's take a look at the format, exactly how the fall season will be playing out in Europe. As you can see now on screen, the fall season format, no different whatsoever from the summer season. The top 6 teams from Europe compete in the league. All teams will play each other twice during the season, and the top 4 teams will advance to the season finals. There will be $67,000 once again up for grabs. Teams 5 and 6 will drop down to face relegation teams in the open circuit. Of course, 2 teams from open circuit will move up. Can they knock either team out? Across the world, there was no teams knocked out. So the same teams advanced in the North American and European leagues. They survived and kept their spaces here for fall season. However, I'm going to say this now, right at the start of the fall season, things are looking quite different in Europe. We'll touch on that a little bit later on. Now I want to talk about the open circuit, though. There's some awesome stuff that's been going down in the open circuit. Obviously, we've only had 1 week so far, gents. Dan, I'll let you take this one away. I hear you've been keeping an eye fixated on that.
Watchful eyes. Well, there is the kind of, I don't want to say the Pro League rejects, that kind of thing. They call themselves the Unwanted. These guys is Doodle, Riots, Warlord, and Speed, all featured in Pro League last season. They are now an open circuit team. They completely wiped the floor with the open circuit during the first cup, and they won that one. And they look like they want their Pro League spot back. Yeah,
they most certainly do, and I think it speaks volumes as to the skill level that is in the Pro League at the moment. I mean, we've got 4 ex-Pro League players at the moment just ripping up the open circuit. So I think that just, you know, is kind of a testament to how strong the Pro League really is.
I saw a tweet from Speed saying that he's as hungry as ever and he wants this more than ever. Now, we've seen that boy. I always remember that German championship when we just saw him ripping faces. But necessarily, it's not just about one player on that roster. That's a really disgusting roster. I mean, I don't want to throw the question out there and say, can there be anyone? Because we haven't really got to that spot just yet. However, they do look good, but we need to talk about the teams that are here in the fall season in Europe, because there are some awesome rosters. Let's take a look at them on screen and show you guys at home how things are now sitting from left to right. Fab Esports, Respectful, Moz, Jimbo, and 2 Foxy. Notice on there we see Jimbo instead of Kimbo. Moving across, X-Men, Anima, Lunny, Ramirez, Chalky. Gotta say, great to see Anima there now in the Pro League. Finally on the end we see Vibe, Snakey, Cristola, Snipe Drone, and Septic. Let's take a look in the blue corner at your 3 remaining teams that will be facing these guys. Batchford, Kimbo, Flux, and Havoc on Team Infused. Prophecy, consisting of Book 57, Book 20, Vexus, and Flames. And finally, the French gods, Pulse Gaming, SLG, Cali, Punisher, and Fragger. Gents, thoughts on the rosters, please? And, well, immediately, which team to you, Dan, I'll start with yourself, stands out most?
I mean, it's hard not to talk about Fab. They obviously dominated last season. It is questionable that Kimbo is gone now and we have Jimbo instead, but if anyone's going to fill those boots well, it should be Jimbo. I mean, he's one of the best players in Europe, and he definitely knows what he's doing in the game. It's just going to be whether he can adapt to that kind of playstyle. So I'll be watching Fab, but for me, Vibe are looking really hot, especially since some of the scrim results, and they just look like they're going to be a team that I'm definitely going to have to look out for.
Yeah, Vibe were certainly a team that I was going to mention in this kind of segment. I mean, Snake and Septic still on that Vibe squad. You know, they had a really good performance towards the end of the season. They made it to the finals tournament, and they ended up placing 3rd, despite being what was it, 4th in the regular season standings. So. Great job from them to not only make it to finals, but also to outplace their original seeding. So those two coming in from the summer finals added Snipe Drone and Cristola, 2 star players from different rosters. Obviously, Cristola found himself in the relegation tournament. We'll be seeing them a little bit later on, but I actually really love this Vibe roster. The other team that actually stands out for me is Pulse Gaming. They haven't made a change. I mean, the second half of last season, you know, with this roster, when it was intact, they look very, very strong. If they can iron out the issues they have in the early game, in the early part of matches, I feel like this team could definitely be making it to finals this season.
So obviously team changes, teams do get better, but I think it's safe to say some teams do get the worst end of the stick. In your opinion, are there any teams that have definitely not as strong as they were in summer season?
I think it's hard for me to say at this point. I mean, on paper, definitely the one that screams out is X-Men. They lost Snipe Drone, they lost Jimbo. 2 really, really star, top caliber players. They lost them. Obviously, they brought in some open circuit talent with Anima, and also they've brought in Lunny from Vibe as well. Whole lot of team changes in the league. Obviously, we kind of need to wait and see how it all pans out during the season. But to answer your question, I think X-Men probably got the worst out of the entire team changes.
And I think you touched on it well earlier. I mean, if we've got players like Riot now in open circuit, if Riot has been kind of forced out of that Vibe squad, that says how powerful this Vibe squad now is. If you're not even going to include one of the best players in Europe, so. Excited to see them, but I feel Harry's right. X-Men are going to be... It feels like they're going to be a bit like the underdogs, which is crazy to say, considering Chalky and Ramirez are in that side.
When am I ever not right, though? I mean, come on.
All the time.
Here we go.
Hey, it's already started.
We're not even in the game yet. Already started.
And of course, new players we accept and welcome into the season, but we also accept and welcome a new organisation. Prophecy are now a part of the European Pro League. Of course, a well-known organisation from back in Call of Duty, but now we see them setting a foothold here in the Halo Pro League. And as you can see on screen, they are going to be our very first game. Pulse Gaming, the gods almighty from France, will be taking on Team Prophecy, formerly known as Dinosaurs. Harry, Pulse Gaming, let's kick off with you. Then obviously this was a roster that stuck together. They have not made a single team change, but certainly was one that looked shaky at the start of summer season, but at the end, they really found their footing.
Yeah, they most certainly did. I mean, towards the end of the season, they got a couple of wins under their belt, and they looked really strong, and they had a couple of close contested series. But this team, SLG, Cali, Punisher, and Fragger, are such strong individuals, and they all seem to come together in the game, and they all seem to make the same decisions at the same time. And I'm really excited to see how they perform this season. Obviously, they weren't where they wanted to be last season. They were in that relegation tournament, which is not where they want to be this time round. And I feel like this team certainly can make it to finals this time round, because last season they looked so strong. And as I touched upon earlier, they have a few issues in the early game, whether that's timing weapons, early rotations, sorting out early spawns, whatever it is. If they can iron out those issues, I honestly think that Pulse could be a top 3 team this season.
No, I have to agree with Harry. I mean, I'm worried about this Pulse lineup. I think they could be absolutely devastating. The fact that they've managed to stick together and they've not made those changes, they're going to be confident in each other, and I think sometimes having that teamwork and having that friendship can be really important in a game. And they will be facing up against Prophecy. Now, Prophecy have had a few changes. They had to get rid of Cristola left. They have replaced him with Vexus, which is a kind of like-for-like replacement. I'm happy with that. Vexus obviously came
just because he's from Island for Island.
No, I'm not saying Island at all. But he came from the open circuit. He performed very well for We Know the Secret. He kind of, from the get-go of Halo 5, he was dominating everyone in matchmaking. And by everyone, I mean me. It's not why I quit. It's not. I didn't get frustrated with Vexus and Lunny destroying me at all.
Now he's called him matchmaking kids. This guy has no chill whatsoever.
But yeah, he is a fantastic player, and I'm really excited to see him in Pro League. So I think that's a good addition to Prophecy, to be honest.
I think the one thing that always gets me about Pulse Game more than anything, it's a team where, and we saw it happen to Infused a few times, if you give them an inch, they literally will take a mile. You know what I mean? If you kind of mess up one tiny little thing, or if it gets in a stronghold point, the kind of team where it'll get to 99 points will say, all right, boys, stop mucking around. Yep. It's time to win. And we have seen them win a 99 game, come back and take it to 100 to 99. So you've got to be very, very careful of them. Let's take a look at the opposite end of the spectrum then. We touched on Prophecy. Obviously, we welcomed them into the fall season. You got the Buck brothers in there, picking up a nice little roster. Flames is back in tow, obviously, with their ex-captain kind of from the Epsilon days.
Yep.
Fair enough. losing Cristola.
Yeah.
It's a big hit. I don't care what anyone says. That is a big, big whack. Flames is still there.
Yep.
He's fighting for his spot, and he's a damn good player. I'm a big fan of Dan the Man. I think he is a fantastic, fantastic player. Are we still kind of in that area where we say 57 kind of needs to play up to his expectation?
I mean, we say that, but Buck 20 had the worst KDA throughout the whole of Pro League last season. So I feel like there is some unfair words going towards 50. Everyone always says it. They're like, oh, 57 plays well if he doesn't play well. But I'm looking at 20 this season. I want to see 20 step up. I want to see what he was doing, the kind of things he was doing during Halo 3 and Halo 4 if this Prophecy squad's going to succeed. Yeah,
but touching on this Prophecy squad as a whole, you got to look, they were in relegation this time last season, right? I mean, at the end of last season is what I meant to say. In the summer season, this squad, Buck 57, Buck 20, Flames, and Cristola at the time. Cristola was their star player, and they were still in relegation. They've lost him this time around, and in fact, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Prophecy actually wanted to replace Flames, but in the end had to get him back on the roster. So now they're actually bringing Vexus in from the open circuit. I honestly think this Prophecy team is a little bit weaker than the Dinosaurs roster we saw this time last season, but we can never count against the Bucks. They always seem to know how to get it done in game. They always seem to know what to do, when to do it. It's just about whether or not they can get themselves firing. And in kind of our rehearsals, we were spectating some of the games, and Prophecy are already on. They're already playing. So maybe, you know, they're a little bit warmed up this time round. And if they can get an early win in the league, I'm pretty sure they could maybe springboard on. But honestly, I think this matchup is going to be the true test for Prophecy.
I do feel like the Bucks have kind of been searching for a new duo since Epsilon, and perhaps this will be the right fit. I mean, it's just going to remain to be seen in this Pro League, to be honest.
I don't want to say a fall from grace, but it's certainly not where I don't think they expected them to be from the kind of the start of Halo 5, winning all these events, going to Worlds, pulling top 8, knocking out Cloud9. It's very much night and day. You know, they didn't even have to qualify for Pro League at the start of the summer season. Back then, they had a spot reserved in it for doing so well at Worlds. Lo and behold, team changes later. They're knocked out of that. They lose their spot again through the last chance qualifier, and have to go through normal procedures. But it kind of reminds me of what used to be the Optic Gaming, but the LOL roster now, where it's very much scrimping and scraping. But when it comes to, you know, doing the dirty work, they get it done. Both teams went to relegation. I think it's fair to say we were thinking now they've had it. They're going to get knocked out by either NTSC or We Know the Secret. Same for Optic Gaming. I thought Denial were going to, LOL. Denial was going to take them out in the North American Pro League. But both rosters, they're both still in. They're both for a fighting chance.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
So we will bring you the series layup now to see you exactly how this one is going to pan out. Eden Strongholds will be game number 1. Plaza Slayer will be game number 2. Fathom Capture the Flag for game number 3. Empire Strongholds for game number 4. And if it's needed, and you know what, I hope it is, because who doesn't love a game number 5? Eden Slayer to finish that one off. Moving into Eden Strongholds, boys. Any lovely little statistics on there?
Yeah, so in the last week, Pulse have played Strongholds game types 3 times, and they've won all 3. The silver lining for the Prophecy squad, for the Pulse squad in this matchup is actually the fact they've played 3 Capture the Flag games in the past week. They've lost all 3. There is only 1 Capture the Flag game type here. It's going to be game number 3, Fathom Capture the Flag. So a bit of a silver lining there for Pulse. Maybe if they're not too comfortable on the Capture the Flags just yet, then that's a bit of a silver lining for them. They only have to deal with 1 in this series. So yeah, it should shape up to be a really good series, I think.
Last time, these guys met early on last season, and Prophecy won this 3-0 quite comfortably. I know now we see a very different squad from Pulse, and a change as well for Prophecy, but that says something. Dinosaurs last season started very strongly, and I'm expecting Prophecy to come out of the blocks early as well this season. Pulse, however, they started very poorly, so it's going to be a kind of mix-up of who's going to be able to come out of the blocks quicker, and I think we're in for a tasty series. I'd be expecting a 3-2 or something along those lines.
Just completely off of the barrel here, are there any particular teams that you fancy in for this first initial game? Who do you think Eden plays more towards? Me, personally, I'm looking towards Pulse. I won't lie.
Yep, I completely agree. I think Eden Strongholds, a lot of it, how the game type works is very momentum based, right? And if you can win those early duels in like the first 30 seconds, 45 seconds, minute of the game, then you're going to be in good stead going forward, because you can get 2 strongholds under your belt and you can start pushing for that 3 cap. You can start rotating, you can start seeing where the other team starts to spawn, and then you can react off of that. That, in my opinion, plays in the hands of Pulse, because at the end of last season, some of their players were not missing shots. They were making really good decisions, and their aim were all on point. That's nothing against Prophecy, but I think if Prophecy, we've known them, in the past to get outshot here and there. I mean, the thing that springs to mind is Bucks winning against Lunny, obviously.
I'm thinking of that in my mind. I'm so glad
the realist Tins last season, obviously, I'm pretty sure the Dinosaurs that time around actually went on to win that series. But still, when we're talking about Eden Strongholds, early game individual battle wins are absolutely key, and that's why I'm favouring Pulse on this one.
Yeah, I think I've got a favour Pulse, and I think in general they kind of wolf pack a little bit better than Prophecy do. They like to rotate as a team. But, I mean, we'll see how this Prophecy squad with Vexus, what kind of happens there. I mean, Vexus might be one of those players that likes to go off on his own and might be flanking, and that might help them in this situation. But if he decides to partner up with one of the Bucks or Flames instead, then Pulse might not be able to deal with him. I think he's going to be the kind of difference maker. He's a very strong Slayer, and he's who I'm going to be wanting to keep an eye out for in this series.
All right then, guys. Well, the eye in the sky is live. Game number 1 is ready to rock and roll. Make sure you tweet the stream. Use the hashtag HCS. Of course, this is game number 1 of series number 1 of the fall season here at the European Pro League. We're pretty excited. This is going to be... It's a nice way to kick it off. The French versus the new team of Prophecy. So I'm pretty sure we are in game. Let's jump on board. Who are we going to start things with, Mr. Harry?
Oh, it's got to be Buck 57. I mean, Dan, you kind of, took the mickey out of me a little bit in the pre-game, but if this guy plays well, more often than not, Prophecy, they take the win. So I'm looking for 57 here, put up a big performance. But look at the kill feed already, guys. I said early game, individual battle wins are key. Pulse Gaming with the first 2 kills, one of which was a perfect.
We're going to see Vexus diving in with Rocky, so he gets them quite earlier on. All of a sudden, Cali will come down to try and transfer back on this blue bend. We see SLG with the camo creeping around. Oh, well dug down one. Can he get the second one? Looking for a back smack. Doesn't matter. He's just going to go in there with the cheeky kills. But someone else going to pick it up, so it's not a double kill. But it doesn't matter because all of a sudden we're into a triple cap. That was rather quick.
Important patience there from SLG, not just jumping in, not firing shots. He did get naded by his teammate, so that was going to be it was very close to being an unsuccessful back whack, sorry. But now Buck 57, he's just going to have to try and hold this. He is alone at the moment. Needs to be careful. He's not going to get pushed from behind. But I like the positioning from him. But at the moment, Prophecy, they need to get hold of another stronghold because they're just allowing these points to rack up for Pulse Gaming.
Personally, I think for me, they kind of needed to get a hold of SLG. He took that camouflage and he kind of just really did what he wants. Flame's going to turn around. 2 players will turn face on 1. That's going to be Punisher who goes down, but he does take Vexus with him at least. That's going to be, I believe that was Fraggy. Yes, it was. He'll come back. They'll try and 2 will dive into Blue Bend and get this one back in the pan as we see 3 points going on the board now for Prophecy. 2 members, though, dive bombing that top middle area. They're going to try and transfer Catwalk, which he have done indeed, but still the time will tick on for Pulse Gaming. I'm not entirely sure where the player was that's gone from blue. Is he still in there? I don't think he is. Nope, there's going to be SLG spawning in there, so they're going to push out on that one, but still, it's very much sided in the hands of Pulse Gaming is this one. They've got really... I don't know how to kind of put it. Prophecy don't seem to have a lot of map coverage.
Yeah, Prophecy just kind of find themselves spread out at the moment, and you saw when Pulse lost one of those strongholds, you saw 3 players immediately charge towards it. They weren't wanting to give Prophecy even a second, but now Prophecy, we do see them managing to get... They are pushing towards this red nest as well, so this could actually be total... Oh, sorry, that's Pulse that are going to try and take red nest, so they will get control once again. So Prophecy need to be careful. Every time they seem to push for one of those strongholds, they're giving up a certain area of the map.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge there from Fragger as well. Winning that duel and also getting the overshield, but I think you touched upon it perfectly, Dan. Every single time Pulse seem to win a duel, they're getting a stronghold to go with it as well. 30-9 the score at the moment, and Fragger again with the overshield. He has a slither of it left, but look at how intimidating he is with this thing. He gets the assault rifle there on Flames, and that's a spree. 5 in a row now for Fragger. He's doing absolute work.
Oh, he catches the camo. That's going to be 57. He'll take him down. That's going to be a big kill for them because they did so much work for it in the previous one, did Pulse Gaming. Unfortunately, Prophecy won't be able to make much use of it. Oh, there you go. There's some random rockets there. We'll just whip them out. You want to come around the corner, Sunshine, bring it on. Still 2 in the barrel, so he can lock down Red Nest for at least a minute. Ooh, oh, dear. He still gets the kill. I was very surprised he got away with that one and didn't actually commit suicide, because a person like myself usually would. The kill feed, though, Harry, I've got to say, it kind of tells the story quite well. The Slayers are in the hands of Pulse Gaming. They're getting the kills, they're controlling the weapons, and Triple cat's back in effect.
Yeah, I absolutely love what SLG is doing. He's just rotating between the two easy strongholds, right? Imagine if you have rockets and you're down by the turbine. How hard of a shot is it to hit that catwalk? Although SLG just hits it anyway. What am I saying right now? I don't even know. Can he get two? No, he can't. But I love the fact that SLG was rotating between Blue Bend and Red Nest. Great rotation there. Used the rockets, had the favorable shots, and he was even hitting the hard ones on catwalk as well. Just great play out of Pulse Gaming right now. And Prophecy just look a little bit lost. They can't seem to win any battles. They can't seem to get any strongholds on the board. Buck20's doing his best to do that right now. He's got his brother with him there as well, and finally some points now starting to score in favor of Prophecy.
Yeah, you might have noticed that Pulse were just kind of, SLG especially, was running around on his own, and I think they've noticed that Prophecy are more than happy to take these individual battles. So Pulse are saying, look guys, we don't need to actually Wolfpack, we can separate here, I think our shots are better. But when those strongholds are being taken, that's when we group together, that's when we get aggressive, and that's what Pulse do very well. It's just their sheer aggression at the right time in the right situation.
Oh, Flames comes around the corner, doesn't quite have his shield full. We're going to see Cali turn around, manages to at least get a beatdown off, and his teammate SLG will clean him up. So the kill's still well and truly in the hands of Pulse Gaming. Another player goes down now. Possibly two at the moment, while three are up on the other side. Finally, Buck20 will get the rockets. I believe this is the second rockets for Prophecy. That's going to be an OS guy, but he didn't actually manage to... I think he only just caught the corner of him. So two rockets not doing any damage whatsoever. That's not great. He needed to take down that OS guy as quickly as possible. Not a single kill from Buck20 with three rockets. Still one in play there. We're seeing two members of PG. They will collapse on it, so they're going to have rockets and they're going to have camo as well.
Yeah, they managed to pick up Overshield and camo, and I've got a shout out to Cali, just because Cali is this kind of player that they don't really need a coach, because Cali is more than happy to time things, kind of old school style that you saw a lot during Halo 3. You'd kind of commit one player to be timing these things. You don't really need that coach anymore. Well, obviously you can't have it when you're playing online, so it is always useful to have a player that can do that.
Yeah, shout out to Cali, purely because I'm pretty sure Pulse have had every single power-up so far in this game. I don't think we've switched to a Prophecy player who's actually had a power-up so far in this game. So great job there from Cali and the Pulse squad, getting the power-ups and just look at the score. It's kind of, you know, telling the story right here.
Yeah, I think when we look at the kill feed at the end as well, I think that'll kind of tell the score. But you know what? It's not over until it's over. As soon as I say that, Blue Ben get transferred back into the hands of PG. One person's going to be pushing out. Lower catwalk as well, but you know what? 57 will get cleaned up. We're going to try and see Buck20 do some work, but unfortunately we will see Punisher. It's going to be Fragger go in, trade off with him, and there you have it. PG will take game number 1, 100 points to 22. A very convincing start for them. Let's take a look at the kill feed and see if that told the exact story as what we watched on screen. 13, 14, 10, and 13. Only one person on Prophecy going double figures.
It was strange because we saw Pulse at the start just all kind of humped together, then they noticed that Prophecy was spread out across the map, and they were like, oh, okay, you want to spread out? Yeah, we'll just match you. We'll happily take any of these 1v1s. We only saw SLG lose a 1v1 battle in that game, so they were very strong. We know that Pulse are very confident in their shot. Yeah,
we touched upon it early on in the game, Sims. The early individual battles are absolutely key. It allowed Pulse to get a time on those power-ups, and from then on it kind of just snowballed. Alongside their individual shot, their individual plays, they were also getting the power-ups to complement that, and that's where I think that the difference really lied. Prophecy didn't really look like they wanted to get any kind of power-up, any kind of power weapon whatsoever, and I think the only time we ever saw any kind of power weapon control was with Buck20, and he just kind of missed two rockets on a guy that was right in front of him. So yeah, interesting the fact that those early individual duels really paid off for Pulse as we predicted.
I mean, you kind of looked at the top there. It was Punisher, I believe it was Punisher anyway, and SLG. Yep. The kind of two guys that we tend to see wandering off more on their own. It's something that we kind of see from Pulse Gaming. They'll kind of send two guys. One where they'll say, okay, Cali, grab a teammate, stick together, go do your own thing. But then you get someone like SLG, you'll be just wandering around. Oh, look, from nowhere, he's just flanked us, and it's keeping... Kind of reminds me of how Warlord plays. You need to kind of... These players that just wander off and do their own thing, that constantly flank and just a nuisance.
Just roamers.
Yeah, exactly. They just wander around, being a problem, even if they're not getting kills, even if they're not getting strongholds, which he was doing. But even if they're not, just been annoying and putting pressure on, it kind of messes things up.
And that was the kind of playstyle we saw a lot of in Halo 3, and it fell out of touch a little bit during Halo 4. It was kind of more group-based, but I like that Halo 5 does allow that, because it does allow those players like Warlord, like SLG, to kind of get in the game and make a difference, make an individual impact, and then not always being just a constant team effort. But SLG at the start of last season, he struggled to find practice, but this season, he's going to be on it. You know he's going to want it, and I think that's a scary thing.
One thing I absolutely want to touch on is the score right there was like something like 50 to single digits. We spoke about it, what we want to see out of Pulse this season, them starting quickly. That was great. I mean, they had like a 50-point kind of lead going into like the first 2 minutes. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, usually it's them that are on the kind of other end of the spectrum where they're facing the barrel of the gun early on in the game. That was absolutely fantastic out of Pulse. Really happy they've kind of gotten over their early game jitters and they look really, really strong. And
we kind of, you touched on it at the start. I mean, no one, SLG was the first person to say it. I've struggled with practice this time round. And then halfway through the season, it was just night and day, completely night and day. These guys were, some of their individual stats, I believe it was him and Punisher, were dropping like 23, 25 kills a game every single game and just annihilate. I mean, I've always said this about the French. There's nothing better than getting a French team to a LAN event. When you stick them at a LAN event, it's electrifying. The stuff they do on LAN, they're just... I mean, fair enough, we still can't understand what they're saying because they still do shout in French, but you can just feel the electricity going forward and the stuff that, you know, it's just amazing. They're always great. They're always great performance every single time you bring them to an event. So moving into Game 2, Plaza Slayer. Obviously, definitely... Oh, you got a weird smile on your face there, Harry.
Well, it kind of sucks for Prophecy at the moment because I'm looking at their stats. They are currently 1-14 in the last week on Slayer. That is a 7% win percentage. Shout out to HaloDataHive.com for those stats right there. So, yeah, definitely not looking great for Prophecy going into this Game 2 Slayer. The silver lining, as we touched upon before, Pulse not really having the best of luck lately on Capture the Flag. So if Prophecy can steal away that Fathom Capture the Flag in Game number 3, obviously that's not right out Game number 2 right away, but if they can get Game number 3, which is a game type they are good at. I mean, you remember Dinosaurs last season on Fathom Capture the Flag. They were absolutely fantastic on that game type. If they can steal that one away, then they certainly have hope left in this series.
Do you remember last season when these two guys matched up on Plaza Slayer? We had that 50-49. It was a 49 standoff, and Flames... no, it was one of the Pulse players was hiding in the corner outside in garden.
Flames have got the final one with the tangerine one.
He got that grenade, and it was a 50-49. It was a really close game. I don't think we're going to see that today. Looking at how Pulse just played, I'm expecting Pulse to go like really hard into this game here.
Okay, I want you to now sit behind Prophecy. Exactly. Okay, you're the coach. What are you saying to them going into this game? How do you take down Pulse in this match?
Stick together and don't take any individual battles. Not right now. Not until after you've lost quite a few individual battles. Just make sure you're at least in a 2. Just back off if you think you're going to die. Don't give away any easy deaths whatsoever.
One thing I'm looking for in this game, I kind of feel like Prophecy at the moment are kind of getting found out a little bit. You know, they don't seem to want to kind of time any power-ups, whether that's because they purely couldn't because of how good Pulse were in the last game or because they've lost a step maybe in the off-season. So I'm looking forward to see Prophecy try and get a hand on the overshield early on. Buck20 will get the time on that, but it is burnt. Great work there out of Cali, nading Buck20, overshield out of the game.
2 members now pushing down on posters. We'll also see Vexus in the corner go down with Sniper Rifle. That's going to be Fragger up in the top corner on S4. He'll put some great shots into 57 to make him push back. And look at this aggression. Punisher straight up through the window. Sit down, Sunshine. 57 will drop. I really didn't expect that push. They clearly want to lock down Cafe so they can stop any pushes coming from that left-hand side. We got somebody over on posters. Bang, we've got a sell, boys.
Yeah, I love that from Pulse. They immediately said, look, we want to get snipe control. We'll happily let them take overshield. We'll use grenades just to make sure that overshield can't do any real damage. And the sheer aggression from Pulse is fantastic against Prophecy. You don't want to give them any chance to breathe. You don't want to let them think, let them set up. It forces them into that spawn trap. And now SLG can just have a field day with this sniper.
So he's finally died, so the Cafe is now open for business, but I've got to say, he stayed there for a hell of a long time. He even let a player hit up on the corner, let a player walk back. Grenade will go down. Cali will drop down. The silenced SMG putting in some work there. Fragger's over on posters. Again, just this is all you need to do. If you want to lock this down, you got a sniper rifle there. That grenade, why he didn't push back, I'll never know. He was flashing. As soon as you're in that tunnel, if a grenade comes in, you're going to get bowled over every single time. Storm Rifle comes straight up the stairwell, takes down Vexus. He's pushing onto Punisher. Punisher will fight back, so Vexus is pushed up to top mid, and straight as SLG takes down 20's teammate's still there, but look at this. Cali's there on the defensive. There's 2 of them holding down. You know what? You want to come and challenge my captain with the sniper rifle? Bring it on, Sunshine. I'm the bouncer of this place. I'll keep him defended. And at the moment, they're running away with the game.
I think Prophecy need to expect there's always going to be 2 members of Pulse. When Flames was taking that battle there, he just needs to be like, okay, there's the guy here. There's probably going to be one around the corner, so perhaps I should back off because I am behind in this current gunfight.
Yeah, and when we talk about Pulse's individual talent. I mean, when there's one of them, it's kind of scary. When there's two of them, you have no hope. So I think you touched on it perfectly there, Dan. Make sure you're not challenging two people blinding flames. I'm looking at you here, son.
So we're going to see a firework. Oh, hey-oh, straight across. The firework will come up and it will come down. 57 goes steaming in. The OS was there, he knew it was coming up. SLG says no, Cali will put it in his back pocket. We keep talking about this man's timings, and he's finally got it once again. Hiding down on the stairwell, we will see Vexus, but there's two players just raining down bullets on him, and Cali, well, he can sit out in the open. He's got some OS. Bring it on, Sunshine. I've got myself a light rifle. We will see 20 trying to hide away. Flames will give him some support, so I like that. At least they're locking down this guy bottom mid and singling him out, but Fragger's there to help him out. Double kill as well, going to pick it up. We'll hop onto his POV as he tries to get Vexus out of this cafe area.
Pulse are like piranhas. I'm going to call them piranhas gaming right now, because literally, as soon as you see someone drop into the middle, all 4 members are more than happy to just drop down, back off, just bait and switch each other, really push in and make sure they finish off every single kill, because every single kill does matter in a Slayer, as SLG gets another intense headshot.
Sims, this is still the first sniper of the game. The second one's coming up right now. They're about to get 2 snipers. Look at the scoreline, 26-7. I'm checking Goosewatch right now. Nope, everyone with a kill, but still, SLG has not died yet in this game, and he still has the first sniper rifle of the map.
No Goose in play. Ironically, a couple of French breadsticks though, but this time not on the side of Pulse Gaming. We're going to see SLG poke up into the window. He's going to check the yard. But one thing to notice, he doesn't actually have any defensive support from his teammate as he did previous. 20's going to go up to top mid. He will get lit up by several different angles because they are just watching that, watching the OS like a hawk. As soon as that drops, they're going to slay first. It's one thing that I like. You never see them YOLO pushing. They will happily slay and slay and slay and then go for it when the opposing team has died. Vexus up in the window. He's going to get pushed hard once again. Storm Rifle versus AI, you've got no chance, my friend.
Look at the difference. I mean, we saw how long was SLG up in that window and he wasn't contested. We saw several players from Prophecy just run past him, eventually got taken down, but Vexus was up there for about 3 seconds and instantly Pulse were like, no, we can't let them have that vantage position. We know how important it is. We know how much it can control the map. So great work from them. Once again, just swarming in on every important kill as the no-scope comes out from Fragger. Can he get a second? Not today.
Oh, he does get beat down. The OS is going to be in play. That'll be a big OS there. If we can see 57 grabbing a hold of it, he does. He gets beat down. He's managed to survive. So finally, they have a little bit of a power weapon in their hands. However, it's not top. As soon as he goes down, grenades come in, and they just light him up. He gets called out instantly.
Yeah, this is much better, though, from Prophecy. I'm liking to see every single overshield so far has been contested. So it's certainly not a timing issue here for Prophecy. It's definitely just Punisher and the boys from Pulse just going absolutely ham.
Well, we saw last game, Prophecy was still trying to get there. We saw Buck 20 with the rockets try and get to that overshield, but unfortunately, he was just too little too late. And because Pulse had that control of, they had that overshield, they knew exact timings. I think that was what important. I mean, yes, Prophecy are kind of getting back into this one, but it is just a little too late right now. They are too far behind for them to make any real impact because Pulse can just trade happily 1 for 2 and still win this game.
Good lord, look at that. Frag, he just drops down a nade, waits for one person to just land on it. Now he's creeping around with a noob combo, trying to stay alive. Oh my word, no shield does get away by the skin of his teeth and then finds a player. But Punisher, once again, is there to clean up. Wow. He's just completely duped Vexus. He dived up to S4, came around the corner, got his shields back, came in with the noob combo. I've got to raise the question, boys. How do you like your steak?
I like it medium rare, thank you very much.
Really?
A little bit of salt, maybe some pepper too. That'll be absolutely fantastic.
A little bit of salt or a lot of salt?
A lot of salt right now, probably from the Prophecy squad. This is going to be a hard one for them to swallow. They have just been absolutely outskilled. They've been absolutely outplayed. This is not the kind of game we were really expecting from what we saw from Dinosaurs last season, but we did say, what is this addition of Vexus going to do to the squad? I'm not going to single him out. I don't think he is the problem here. I just think as a 4 at the moment, they're really struggling to take down a very, very impressive Pulse Gaming side.
We're only into game number 2 of the fall season, so I'm not going to start calling big assumptions, as you said. We can't start calling out teams and players after this, but this is pure French aggression at its finest. You know, this is what we see from them when they're playing at that high level. 47-19. That is a scoreline. That is setting a precedence going forward for these guys. Harry said we need to start, you know, the French, they've got to start early and keep going. You don't want to be near your teammates, though, unfortunately.
Okay.
But again, every single time.
You can't say that, Daniel.
No, not allowed, especially when I'm mid-cast, man. 49, can we see a no-scope? He's at least going to clean him off. They do get the OS, but honestly, I think it's going to be too little, too late.
No.
He's tagged him up 3 times. Yeah. He's actually tagged him 3 times in the no-scope, and there we go.
Stop, they're already dead.
50 to 21, not like this. Harry said going ham. I said that's going jambon, my friends.
Yep, most certainly. Let's check out the scoreboard. I mean, SLG was alive for such an early portion of the game. 4 deaths from him. Just, you know, just a great job out of him and Cali. But also Fragger. We were watching Fragger go absolutely ham, but you know, he's only got 5 deaths. That's absolutely crazy.
What did I say about Buck20 last season? Worst KDA across the season. 6-17.
7.
I feel like Buck20 is one of these players that he knows he's a fantastic player. He knows he can change the game, and he tries perhaps to do a little bit too much. And when you start falling behind, you can tell he's screaming at his teammates, and he's saying, look, we need to get back into this. We need to push.
Yeah, we say that, though, but we can't blast 20 without blasting Vexus. I mean, 2 and 11. 2 kills when you're not, you know, winning your individual battles on a Slayer game. I mean, especially against a Pulse gaming squad, it's certainly not good.
But I don't think there were individual battles. That's the problem. Pulse were just made sure. Pulse were like, no, we're not going to have any individual battles. We're going to make sure it's always at least 2-on-1. They are Piranha Gaming.
The amount of times that they actually went after the guy in Cafe, SLG, I mean, we saw at the start, Punisher steamboated in, all right, boys, this is mine. I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere else.
Yep.
Then we saw SLG, okay, we'll bring the sniper rifle over, we'll rotate around. And it was just, you know, it was just a little, I don't want to call it a buddy system, it was like a bouncer system. Every time he'd turn around, try and get the no scope, because why not? If someone's going out, you might as well have a crack at it. Someone would steam in with the storm rifle, clear him out. And the amount of time as well with Cali, you saw the assists. Even when they didn't have someone set up there fully with the sniper, they still kept it clear so they couldn't push round and push through Hotel every single time. He was just bobbing in. He got the most assists. You can see the snapshot there. Fragger just, and if he'd have landed that one, my word.
I think the bouncer system, as you said, Sims, I think is a really great system because best case scenario, you get a kill on a guy that's trying to push the sniper rifle player thinking that he's alone. Worst case scenario, the guy who pushes the guy that's pushing, if that makes sense, he dies, the sniper's like, oh, my teammate's dead. I'm going to run away. Yeah, still got the sniper.
Or even,
it's
I mean,
no big deal. Like, you know, it's just a great system. It works either way.
Even if his teammate dies, you know that that person that's just killed him is going to be weak as well. So then you can push around and you just instantly get that trade-off. So I do love what Pulse Gaming are trying here, and that the bait and switch is just perfect at the moment. It's completely different to what we saw of Pulse Gaming during the start of last season.
I think I may have only seen 2 OSs and 1 sniper for a very short time in the hands of Prophecy as well.
Yeah, but as I touched upon in the commentary, it's not really because they're not timing them. I mean, they were constantly contesting that overshield top middle, but they just couldn't get their hands on it because the focus fire and the teamwork from Pulse was just so strong. So for Prophecy, that's kind of a good thing. All you need to do is, you know, you have your timings on point. All you need to do is work on playing together as a team, keeping level-headed in-game and just grouping up and making sure you can fight a fair fight rather than running in 1 versus 2 every time.
So here we go then, game number 3, Fathom, capture the flag. Obviously, Prophecy do need to take this to stay in the series, and then we get to Empire Strongholds, and they may have some sort of a fighting chance. The reason I say this is because we know how, it's a horrible word to say, but how random Empire Strongholds can be. Because of how things play out, Empire can go either way, and especially if you get a little bit of momentum in Empire, things can rapidly escalate.
I think messy is the best way to say it. It's a bit of a messy game type, and it can kind of go either way because it's very scrappy. You kind of just have to trade off as many kills. It's very hectic. You don't really get any chance to think.
The silver lining here for Prophecy is the fact that the Dinosaurs team this time last season, when they were playing Fathom Capture the Flag, they looked very, very good. I mean, they had quite a high win percentage on this game type, and I want to talk a little bit about Fathom Capture the Flag because I just love the way that it's developed from kind of Worlds qualification to Worlds to you know, the summer season. Fathom Capture the Flag has changed quite a lot. Obviously, we've had the railgun and the camo switched up, so now the camo's up top and the railgun's down low. But I'm also seeing the way that the flags are being run. Before, we used to see the flags run through the treehouse. You had to slay 2 waves of spawners. Now, at the end of last season and the start of this season, I'm certainly expecting to see teams run that flag a little bit more direct because they're starting to say, hey, if we have 4 down, let's just run it straight underneath the treehouse or even straight through bottom middle because there's still a lot of cover there and we're going to move the flag so much faster.
And I remember this was a debate that I had with Bravo. He was talking about American teams always ran at treehouse, and I was saying how Europeans were starting to run it under the treehouse, and he was saying, nah, that's never going to work. And now we're actually seeing some American teams that are doing it as well. So I'm not saying that Europeans set the pace, but it's kind of like they accidentally got it right for once. I mean,
accidental meta.
They were like, oh, well, we're a little bit ahead of the Americans.
I do like, especially if a team is like really on fire and really in control of the map and slaying out of their minds, where one player will just sit top mid and one player with the flag will run up through treehouse to top mid and then bounce it straight into their courtyard or straight into the hands of someone waiting in window. If you can really get an amazing presence on this map, I mean, if you ever looked at Halo heat maps, that most of the deaths and most of the kills, they always come from top mid and treehouse every single time. They are your best line of sight. 57 knows this, and that's exactly where he's going. You've got Camo up there. If he can back this, that's going to be a nice little stat then, because if we look on the player outlines, he's actually not even going to get challenged for it. So that's going to be a nice free Camo. As I say that, though, he gets lit up from the VAT. Someone's there to clean it down. Of course, it's SLG putting some great shots on from the light rifle.
What you said it right. I do like the fact that Camo's there at top mid, because yes, you get those players that control top mid, but as soon as you're rewarded with that camouflage, usually that means you're going to push into the base. So that will usually free up top mid, and you'll be calling for a teammate to kind of get behind you and take top mid instead.
One thing that I don't like is how bottlenecked right now Prophecy are inside this base. They are, fair enough, they're getting the kills, but 3 members trapped inside your base, it's not the best of stats. This is kind of what we said for Pulse game before. They are really putting the pressure on right now. Flames has got the railgun, does need to push out, which is what he's doing. He's going to move towards treehouse. We'll see him going one-on-one with the captain of the opposing side. SLG takes down Buck 20, but now he's got a little bit of map presence. Now his teammates can push forward, but look at what we mentioned before. That's Punisher in the back. He's just doing what he does every single time. He's at the opposing side. He does get cleaned up, so he's going to actually fragger on the opposing side. Flames, though, still here with the railgun, stopping anyone from wandering up. We'll get it charged up. 2 members are there, though. He drops down. Need to get this kill on Fragger, which he doesn't. That's going to be 20 who will clean him up. Hanging around in the garage, though, with no shield. Punisher just drops down straight into the side. Down he goes as well.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about. Buck 57 running this flag underneath the treehouse. Look at how fast he's able to run that flag. Yes, he's pressured from behind, so a bit of poor play there out of Prophecy. Can't quite keep that flag guy alive. Flames going for the ninja, can't quite hit it, and I believe that's going to be Cali going for that reset. But at the moment, that flag is still down. But again, that flag runs so fast, and now Vexus is able to pick that one up, and let's see if he can put it home.
They should be able to put this one home, because I don't think there is a member of Pulse that is going to be able to contest this. And I've got to say, that starts from Flames. Oh, the flag doesn't quite go in. Is anyone going to be there to actually put that one in? There are a few members of Pulse coming towards it, but Buck 20 will be there to put that one in.
Lord for that spawn.
But the start of all that was because of Flames being patient with the railgun. He happily sat in treehouse. You saw all of the members of Pulse try and take him down, but he was able to pick off a few of them, as we now see Pulse trying to get a counter cap here.
We'll see SLG driving 5 into the back of the head of Vexus. But I want to put this one out there, lads. That last flag cap, they only got that in because of the spawn in treehouse. That, to me, isn't brilliant, you know? And straight off the back of that, we've got a counter cap coming in.
Yeah, just as you say that, we swap over to Cali, who has that camouflage, has that railgun. Again, Pulse executing on these power-ups and power weapons. They're running a flag already. Cali's just cleaning house at the moment. Camo, railgun, no problem, 1-1.
Needs to be careful here, though.
That was a risky challenge. I personally wouldn't have gone for that one. He wanted it a little bit too much, especially when you're going to go one-on-one with a light rifle. He's going to be scoped in, drilling it into your forehead. 57 will challenge SLG with the flag. Doesn't quite get away, thrusts at the wrong time. Fragger's going to be aggressive, though, and try and get stuck in. AR will come down from Buck 20. He's going to try and hide in this corner. Grenades are coming in and bouncing. You can hear them knocking around. There is... it's the second, literally. I thought he was going to get away with it, but unfortunately, he had a splinter just waiting right above his head.
Yeah, the problem with that play right there, though, is the fact that the Pulse player was able to stay alive. Buck 20 had to overextend it, and it cost him his life. So those kind of scrappy plays out of Pulse really help them in the long term on Fathom Captain Flag, because now they can start scrapping again for map control. And we hop over to SLG. He's already getting himself a kill. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. I'm pretty sure at the moment there is a flag on the move, as we're seeing Vexus there trying to throw that flag out. But again, SLG quick to the punch, 2 kills in favor of Pulse, and now a flag can start to be moved.
And as soon as it was, Cali just span his head around. 57 shut him down. The flag's on its way, and this is what I said earlier on. I was speaking about it before we started this. Through the treehouse, to the top mid, drop it down, wait for your teammate to pick it up. And I also like SLG's route. He's just going to run through a little door, get himself, he's actually just going to lay down some landmines there if anybody wants to try and challenge him. And he's got 2 players as well. There's a cap, 2-1.
And what Pulse do really well is when they feel like they're on the back foot, when they feel like a few of these Prophecy players are pushing too far into the base, you'll find one member that will flank round, make sure they pull a flag, try and cause a distraction, and you will often see members kind of flank back to make sure that flag doesn't go too far. So they are going to go 2-1 up in this game, and now Prophecy need to respond. And we've already seen earlier on in this series, when Prophecy are on the back foot, they do struggle, as Cali is going to get yet another camouflage.
And another railgun. That's the second time in a row, back to back. This man is timing. Fair enough, he's died, but I'd rather die with it and have it in my hands dying than I would the opposing teams. They're going to be coming down as we look across to SLG. He's going to get his shields back. And every time I look at this, top mid, it's controlled by Pulse Gaming every single time. I've not really seen a great deal of control coming out of Prophecy as he... Ooh, that would have been sick if he'd landed that one. I've been saying get Reg Sunshine, but... You got to look at this, the power weapons and top mid control right now, it's well and truly in the hands of Pulse Gaming.
Well, I mean, you've kind of noticed that Prophecy have just been crouching a lot to try and get out of their base. They're having to sneak around just because of the amount of control that Pulse Gaming do have of this map. They have been getting that camo, they've been keeping that top mid, but finally, Prophecy have got a little bit of map control. They're starting to get aggressive, so we see 2 members of Pulse going down now, so this is the time for Prophecy to move their flag. They need to watch the spawns, communicate well, and they should be able to put this one in.
Yeah, it's going to bounce that through Courtyard. He is getting drilled in the back, though. We're going to see, I think that's Punisher coming round, but there we go. We're all tied up. 6:30 remaining on the clock, 2-2 apiece. But Cali is already on the aggression. We'll see SLG in the kill feed get ones. That's 2 members of Prophecy down. No doubt. Oh, they didn't have anyone inside the base, so they managed to get the gen spawn. That will shut down that flag run as Flames tries to... Did he actually get it? I can't see. Yep, he must have done. That's going to be a double coming out of SLG. No, he didn't. So that flag's still on the move. One player did shut him down, and that ended that run. This could be the final one if they put that one in on that side. I'm going to see a couple more kills coming in. Yeah, this is going to be the final one if they get it in. Let's see how many he's got. He's got support. 2 players are there. 1 person shut down. And that's it. Game, set, match. Series 3-0, 3-2 in the flag. Pulse Gaming, what a way to start the fall season.
Well, wasn't it exactly as we predicted, Pulse taking this series? It was a 3-0 in the end, and Fathom captured the flag was a bit of a better showing there from Prophecy. I mean, look at the kills. They did a little bit better than they did in the previous games, but again, it's just Pulse coming out on top. King SLG, 15 kills, most kills in the game. Top Slayer SLG, and Cali was just, again, back-to-back camo railguns. Absolutely devastating for the momentum of Prophecy, and obviously Punisher and Fragger just doing Punisher and Fragger things throughout. Pulse, just beautiful Halo to watch, and they're looking really, really good to start off this season.
And you were saying what was happening at the end there. You were like, oh, did Flames return it? What was going on? But you saw the ground pound actually came in. I think it might have been Fragger just ground pounded Flames when he was an inch away from returning that flag. So very important kill, and kind of a spectacular one as well, that we didn't quite witness, but I just saw it in third person.
Which we actually mentioned on one of these statistics when we were going through with like writing little player cards and stuff like that. We mentioned, which player did we say is the one that always clutches up for that team, Punisher or Fragger?
Punisher.
I want to say Punisher.
I think that it is Punisher we were talking about.
There's a prime example, being in the right place at the right time. This is our flag. Bang. Let's get it moving. We skipped off it at the end there, which we didn't quite see it, so I'm wondering, did he get it? Didn't he? And I thought he had, because it was literally that close to being returned, so clutching up when it counted most.
I'm actually really happy with the way Pulse played that game. I want to touch on 2 plays in the game, at the start and the end of the game, both by SLG. You said at the start of the game the fact that Pulse weren't actually contesting the railgun whatsoever. They sent 3 down for camo, and SLG actually flanked with the light rifle, able to take down that camo player absolutely no problem. And then at the end of the game, SLG had already got a double to start the flag run, and then was immediately turning to look on spawns. We're on board with him right here. He's already putting a flag in. I mean, SLG, in my opinion, that game was basically, he was the difference maker. This is it. Double kill. He's already looking for spawners there on the what's that thing called, Dan? You know it?
I don't know what thing you're talking about.
The oil rig thing. You know, the big tanker thing. I probably shouldn't do that. That's not a good idea. I don't know.
He's talking about
that. Where they all spawn.
The VAT.
Yeah.
The VAT.
Okay,
is it the VAT? I don't know. The big cylinder thing.
There's a few names for it, but in general,
what is the
VAT?
Fathom's like a submarine, isn't it?
There's an area of the map called
Sub. I'm going to keep letting him sweat here.
Help me! No, but seriously, SLG with that double kill to start the flag run and then already looking at spawners, just fantastic player, big fan.
2 of those caps were counter caps as well from Pulse. Pulse were like, okay, so Prophecy are pushing, let's absorb a little bit of this pressure, let's let them grab the flag. Yeah, okay, we'll let them capture it, but as soon as they captured it, you noticed 1 player died, then a 2nd player died, and then Pulse were like, okay, so 2 are dead, let's push in now, we make our move. They would then spawn on VAT, they would control those spawns well, and Pulse just too strong. Piranha Gaming coming out and just being a dominant force, and that's going to be a hard one to swallow for Prophecy today.
I don't know if I'm seeing some sort of traction here. Prophecy 22, 21 and 2. They're loving the 2s today, aren't the boys? I've got to say, unfortunately, they didn't get any 2 in the series. They do go down 3-0.
That's why you're not an analyst.
What a way to start, though, especially for Pulse Gaming. They kicked off last season in a pretty awful and rubbish way, but To go 3-0 in the first series of the fall season, you've got to be extremely... What are you doing?
Can I have this guy in the shot? I feel like this guy right here needs to be just chilling, you know.
Fair enough.
Any particular reason?
Nope.
Well, he was kind of out of shots.
Because Pulse Gaming won a series on stream, that's why. Master Chief approved.
Can I just say, is this yours?
It is my sword, yeah.
That's heavy. I did not expect that at
careful,
all.
there's some tape holding that up.
Is there? Then I'm actually going to put that
Illusion
back.
ruined!
We're going to put...
People thought it was floating.
Mate, that's...
We'll sort it out.
What a time to be alive.
Blame Sims.
I believe we are going into a very short break. I'm getting confirmation in here in just a second. Of course, we will have our second series of the night underway. We hope you all are having a great time there. It's wonderful to be back, and we hope you are having as much fun as we are. But for now, very short break, guys. Tweet the stream, use the hashtag HCS, and we'll be right back in just a minute.